Have you ever heard of a place where time seems to have frozen? A place so isolated that every whisper becomes a shout and every shadow holds a story. Welcome to São Valentim do Norte, a small forgotten village in the heart of the countryside. The year is 1968. Here, everyone knows each other, or at least they think they do. But beneath the calm surface of this tight-knit community, a strange, heavy feeling hangs in the air, a silence that seems to be waiting for something to break it. The annual Harvest Ball was always the highlight of the year, a rare moment of joy and celebration. But this year, it was different. As the villagers danced and laughed, a mysterious woman appeared. She wore an old, elegant black lace dress, a stark contrast to the colorful fabrics of the local women. She moved to the center of the hall, dancing alone, her movements hypnotic and unsettling. No one recognized her. A few brave young men tried to approach her, but they recoiled instantly, claiming they felt a deadly chill, a cold that seeped into their bones. They swore they heard faint whispers in their ears, words they couldn't quite understand, but which filled them with a nameless dread. The morning after the ball, a cold fear gripped the village. Helena Moura, the vibrant and beloved daughter of the wealthiest farm owner, was gone. She had vanished without a trace. Panic spread like wildfire as people recounted the events of the previous night. Helena's last known whereabouts: dancing. Witnesses remembered seeing her, mesmerized, dancing with the mysterious woman in the black dress. They said the dress itself was strange, that it didn't just absorb the light, but seemed to possess its own dark glow, shining like polished coal under the dim lamplight of the hall. The woman who wore it had led Helena away, and now Helena was nowhere to be found. Days turned into a week of frantic searching. The hope that had flickered in the hearts of the villagers began to die out, replaced by a growing sense of despair. Then, a group of children playing near the old abandoned farm made a horrifying discovery. At the bottom of a dried-up well, they found a tattered piece of black lace fabric, soaked in a dark, sticky substance that could only be blood. Beside it lay a single golden lock of hair, identical to Helena's, and a silver medallion, tarnished but still readable, bearing the initials HM. The discovery confirmed their worst fears. Helena was gone, and something evil had taken her. The town plunged into a state of paranoia. Doors were bolted, windows were shuttered, and the trust that had once bound the community together began to unravel. Desperate for answers, the villagers turned to the elders, the keepers of the town's history. They spoke of an old, dark legend, a story from 1920 that had been whispered in hushed tones for generations. On the very same farm where Helena was last seen, a woman had been accused of witchcraft. She was dragged from her home and burned alive by the villagers, an act of injustice fueled by fear and superstition. Before the flames consumed her, she cursed them all, swearing that she would one day return dressed in the black of her charred remains to seek revenge on the daughters of the Moura bloodline, the family who had led the charge against her. Soon after, the true terror began. The nights in São Valentim do Norte were no longer silent. It started with faint sounds, a soft knocking on windows, the sound of a woman weeping in the distance. Then the sounds grew bolder. Loud, frantic footsteps echoed from the rooftops, always beginning at the stroke of midnight. Some terrified residents peering through their curtains claimed to have seen her. A spectral figure of a woman in a flowing black dress, drifting through the fields like smoke. She would glide across the landscape before vanishing into the thick, chilling mist that rolled in from the hills. The ghost of the woman in black had returned, and she was haunting their every waking moment. Years passed, but the legend of Helena and the woman in black never faded. The Moura farmhouse fell into ruin, a monument to the family's tragedy. One day, a curious historian exploring the decaying structure pried up a loose floorboard in the master bedroom. Beneath it, he found a small leather-bound diary. Its pages, filled with elegant looping script, revealed the dark secrets the Mora family had desperately tried to bury. It spoke of adultery, of bitter betrayal, and of a brutal crime committed against a young maid who worked on the farm. The diary confirmed the legend. The maid had been the patriarch's lover, and when his wife discovered the affair, she framed the girl for witchcraft to get rid of her. The maid was the woman burned alive, the same woman who had cursed their lineage before her agonizing death. Shaken by the diary's revelations, the town's new priest decided to take action. He believed that the restless spirit was trapped by her thirst for vengeance, and that a proper mass could finally set her soul free. He gathered the faithful inside the old church, lit candles, and began the rites of exorcism. But as he spoke the holy words, a violent gust of wind swept through the church, extinguishing every single candle in an instant, plunging the room into darkness and chaos. At that exact moment, one of the nuns present fell to the floor, convulsing. A deep, hoarse voice, not her own, erupted from her throat, echoing through the terrified silence. "She hasn't paid yet," it rasped. The ritual had failed. The spirit was not ready to forgive. On the one-year anniversary of Helena's disappearance, the town held its breath. As night fell, a thick fog enveloped the road leading out of the village. A lone traveler hurrying home stopped dead in his tracks. There, in the middle of the road, were two figures. They were walking hand in hand, their forms silhouetted against the fog. As he got closer, his blood ran cold. One of the figures was Helena Mora, her face pale and lifeless. The other was an identical woman, a mirror image, but dressed in a flowing black gown that seemed to float just above the ground. At that very moment, the old church bell began to toll on its own, its haunting chimes ringing out 3 times, marking the witching hour. Decades passed. The story of Saint Valentin became a local ghost story, a tale to scare children. Then, in the year 2025, a documentary crew, fascinated by the enduring legend, arrived in the village. They wanted to separate fact from fiction, to uncover the truth behind the woman in the black dress. One of the crew members, a young cameraman, wandered into the now derelict Mora farmhouse. He found an old, ornate mirror in what was once Helena's bedroom, its glass clouded with dust and age. He wiped it clean and looked at his reflection. But he wasn't alone. Standing directly behind him in the reflection was a woman with piercing eyes, wearing a tattered black dress. A slow, cold smile spread across her face as she leaned closer, her voice a chilling whisper that seemed to come from both the mirror and the air around him. "Will you dance with me too?" Thank you for joining me on this journey into the shadows. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tales that will haunt your dreams. Stay safe and always check your reflection.